My name is Avery Collins. I'm 26, and I learned two things the Monday before my birthday. My boyfriend needed space, and apparently Miami had better timing than I did. It started with that tone in his voice, feathery serious, like he was about to read me a TED Talk instead of tell the truth. "We need to talk," Simon said, and the room shifted. We'd been together almost 3 years, sharing a lease for the past 10 months, our groceries layered. In the fridge, like overlapping timelines, his almond milk behind my oat milk, our Sunday pasta sauce cooling next to strawberries I kept forgetting to eat. Ordinary things that think they're permanent until they aren't. "I feel like we need a break," he said, and I actually laughed. "Like Ross and Rachel," I blurted, then immediately hated myself for giving him the punchline. "Avery, I'm serious." He perched on the edge of the couch, palms together, eyes soft, the performance of empathy. I tucked my hair behind my ear. "Okay, why?" "We're stuck in a routine," he said, the way people say weather to avoid admitting they just don't want to stand in the rain with you. "My cousin invited me to Miami for a week. I think some time apart will give us perspective." "My birthday is Saturday," I said. We'd made reservations at the Korean barbecue place I'd been talking about for months. He'd called it our mini tradition in the making. It was on his calendar with a heart emoji. "You're going to Miami this week?" "Avery, everything can't be about you," he said gently, as if gentleness could sand down the cruelty. "This is about my mental health." "When do you leave?" "Wednesday morning." He avoided my eyes. I already booked. I let the words find the floor and shatter there. "Cool," I said, because sometimes cool is the only shield left. "During this break, what are the boundaries?" "Boundaries?" He blinked, tossed hair from his forehead. "We're adults. It's just time to think." "Can we see other people?" I asked, not because I wanted to, but because a map without a legend is just a guess. He paused, too long. "I mean, it's a break, so technically we're not together." "Perfect timing then," I said, and he flinched, like he'd finally heard himself. He left Wednesday like he was leaving for work. Quick kiss to the air near my cheek, suitcase wheels humming a goodbye song. By noon, his story lit up. Airport selfie, captioned self-care journey. He layered Miami filters over ocean blues and boat whites for the next 48 hours. In one clip, a familiar silhouette slipped past the frame, dark hair and a profile I recognized from photos I never asked to see. Daniela, the ex-girlfriend from college, the one who didn't matter now, except apparently she lived in Miami and still looked good on yachts. Thursday, a text. "Miami is amazing. Needed this. Hope you're good." Like I was his pen pal. I typed, "I'm great, enjoying my break too," then deleted 3 times before sending it. He told me not to be salty. I put my phone face down and went to water the basil I kept killing and resurrecting. That evening, Noah texted me. Noah, the best friend who had always been Simon's voice of reason and my favorite witness. "Hey, heard about the break. You okay?" He was 24, too earnest for the world. The guy who always carried jumper cables in his trunk and gluten-free cookies to parties because someone might need them. I could almost hear his voice through the screen. Gentle, not performative. "I'm fine," I typed, then erased fine. "It sucks. Saturday is still your birthday. Let me take you out," he wrote. "No one should be alone that day." "You don't have to do that." "I want to, as a friend. Someone should celebrate you." I stared at those words, "celebrate you," and felt something steady click into place. Maybe the opposite of a break is not a label or a plan. Maybe it's presence. Saturday came like an apology disguised as morning light. My phone buzzed with family texts, group chats, emojis confettiing the lock screen. Nothing from Simon. The empty space where his message should have been felt bigger than the screen. Noah picked me up at 6. He'd made an effort. Crisp shirt, shoes that weren't just fine for walking. He grinned, sheepish. "Birthday rules. You pick the place." "I had Korean barbecue booked," I said, surprised at how steady my voice was. "But I don't feel like sitting where I plan to sit with someone else." "Then we pivot," he said, easy. "I have a backup." His backup was a warm, low-lit place that smelled like roasted garlic and fresh thyme. The server called me birthday girl and slid a candle across a slice of something citrus and velvet. We talked for hours the way people talk when they aren't calculating exits, about work and travel and the last movie that made us think about calling our dads. He listened like it mattered. My phone stayed face down. No doom scroll, no flinch every time a notification sparked. Outside, the summer air wrapped us in that forgiving way it sometimes does. On the sidewalk, Noah shifted like his shoes had grown suddenly complicated. "Can I be honest?" he asked. "Please. I've liked you for a while," he said, heat flashing high on his cheekbones. I know, best friend code. But watching him treat you like an afterthought has been hard. And Miami, he swallowed. He's been texting Daniela for months, deleting messages. I saw one once by accident. He said it wasn't what it looked like, but it looked like what it looked like. "Why tell me now?" I asked. My voice didn't shake. My hands did. "Because you deserve someone who chooses you first," he said simply, "not someone who uses you as a backup plan." He kissed me then, quick and soft, almost a question. He pulled back immediately. "Sorry, that was—" I kissed him back, not to answer a question, but to ask a different one. What if being chosen feels like breathing again? We went to my apartment and sat on the floor with our shoes off, making tea like teenagers pretending adulthood is just a ceramic mug and a decent playlist. We talked until 4 a.m., about the exact moment a routine becomes neglect, about how guilt and anger can share a couch, about how a person can expand to fit the attention they're given. He crashed on the couch because despite everything, we weren't trying to be messy. We were trying to be honest. Sunday was farmer's market peaches and a matinee, and me showing him the soft close hinge on my bedroom door that ruins every dramatic exit. "This thing," I sighed, "has no flair for the theatrical." "Maybe that's good," he said. "Maybe quiet endings are safer." In the afternoon, my phone buzzed. "Happy belated," Simon wrote, followed by a photo. Ocean-bent sunlight, a yacht, and Daniela tucked into his side like a habit he hadn't shaken. Noah saw the screen, raised an eyebrow. "Subtle," he said. We made dinner. We didn't name things. We didn't pretend not to know their names. That night, when Noah asked where he should sleep, I stared at the couch, then at my bed, then at him. "Here," I said, and he nodded like he understood decision as language. Monday to Thursday, we kept it quiet. Coffee, work, takeout, laughter that didn't have to be loud to be real. We didn't declare or define. We just kept showing up. Meanwhile, Simon's stories became a travel brochure for self-care with your ex-girlfriend. Clubs, beaches, restaurants, the future pretending to be glamorous while the past sat in every frame. Thursday night, a text. "Landing tomorrow at 3. Can't wait to see you and talk about us. I have so much clarity now." Clarity. He typed it like it was a gift wrapped in tropical paper. Friday, 2:58 p.m. The building hummed with ordinary life. Mrs. Patterson arguing with a delivery guy about leaving boxes in the lobby. Someone's dog deciding the elevator was a stage. I was wiping the counter when I heard it, the familiar scritch of a key testing my lock. My chest went still in a way that felt like bracing for an earthquake you can't stop. The door swung open. "Baby, I'm back," Simon called, suitcase wheels singing the re-entry. He stepped into the kitchen, tan and sparkling with stories he couldn't wait to tell. "I have so much to—" I turned my head when he leaned in to kiss me. "We're on a break," I said, and watched the word land like a glass on a marble counter. No bounce, just the cold ring of it. "Well, yeah, but I'm back now. Break's over." "Is it?" I asked. A floorboard creaked. Noah walked out of the bedroom in the soft gray tee I'd thrown him that morning, hair pushed up like he'd argued with a pillow and lost. He froze. Simon froze. For one long, breathless second, the room held all three of us without blinking. "Hey, Simon," Noah said, voice even. "How was Miami?" And just like that, the soft, close hinge inside Simon snapped. I saw it, the moment a performance meets an audience that doesn't clap. He stared at Noah like he was looking straight into a mirror he hadn't approved. "You're kidding me," Simon said, a smile stretching too wide, the kind you put on when you're praying a camera isn't rolling. "Noah? In my shirt?" "In my shirt," I corrected, because truth does not need to borrow anyone's wardrobe. Simon's jaw clicked. "We were on a break," he said, but it came out brittle, like a glass picture frame picked up by the wrong corner. "You said we were," I answered. "Your rules." Noah rested a hip against the door jamb, not combative, not apologetic, just present. "She didn't ask for any of this, man." "Oh, spare me," Simon snapped. "Avery, What is this? Revenge? Because I went to Miami for my mental health? Your mental health posed on a yacht, I said, with Daniela's hand on your waist like it never left. He blinked hard. It wasn't like that. You posted it. I let my phone slide across the counter with his own story open. The sun, the boat, the arm, evidence, filtered and geotagged. That was optics, he said, the way people say context when they mean excuse. We were just out. I needed clarity. You needed a plane ticket, Noah said, calm as a level. You booked it before you told her. Simon cut him a glare. You don't get to weigh in. You're my friend. I was, Noah said evenly. And I also watched you make her feel like a placeholder for the last 6 months. The room went quiet enough to hear the compressor in the fridge breathe. Simon turned back to me. Avery, you could have waited. 1 week? You left on Wednesday. My birthday was Saturday. I kept my voice low because fury loves an echo, and I didn't want to give it one. You didn't text until Sunday. Happy belated, with a photo of you and your ex. What exactly was I waiting for? He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. You slept with my best friend. I spent time with someone who chose me, I said, while you were choosing nostalgia and better lighting. Noah lifted his hands. We didn't plan it. We didn't even plan dinner. We were careful, and then we were honest. Simon's eyes shined in that specific way. Not tears, but the glint of a story revising itself in real time. So that's it? I come back and it's just over? It started ending when you asked for a break right before my birthday, I said. It continued ending when you put Daniela in your stories like a subliminal message. It's ending now because you want to return what you left, like a shirt you barely wore. He laughed once, sharp and hollow. Wow, you're dramatic. Says the man with a highlight reel called self-care, Noah murmured. Simon wheeled his suitcase into the bedroom and started yanking open drawers. A tangle of t-shirts, the hoodie he wore on our first trip, a ball cap that had absorbed 3 summers, the frantic choreography of departure. I'll pack your things, I said. Tell me what time you want to come back with boxes. He spun. I'm not leaving tonight. You don't live here tonight, I said, and felt the sentence settle in my bones like a key finally turning the right way. You moved out when you moved on. His lip curled. This is my apartment, too. It is, I said, which is why I'm saying I'll pack your things respectfully. You can pick them up. We can talk then if there's anything left to say. He yanked a drawer too hard, and it thunked against the soft, close mechanism, gliding shut like it pitied him. He swore at a hinge, which felt on brand. By evening, I'd stacked his life into clean brown boxes. Denim, socks, books he never finished, the overpriced diffuser he swore cured stress. I labeled everything with blue painter's tape, block letters. Noah kept handing me fresh tape, fresh boxes, fresh cups of water. Care is not complicated. It's repetitive. Simon showed up Saturday at noon with his sister Tessa and his friend Maurice, both wearing expressions like they'd been briefed for war and handed the wrong map. You really packed everything, Tessa said, eyes moving over the neat stacks like they were exhibits. I said I would. Simon started pointing at things that were not his. The air fryer. My mom gave me that before I met you. The espresso machine. It's mine. Your contribution was saying you preferred pour-over. My PlayStation, he declared, and reached. That, I said, actually laughing this time, is not yours by any metric. I use it too, he shot back. Past tense, I said. You used it. Maurice looked between us, uncomfortable. Man, just take your boxes. Tessa gave me an apologetic half smile, which is the smile you wear when family loyalty is staging a sit-in on your good sense. He said this was a misunderstanding. I didn't answer. I opened the door. I'll give you the hallway for a while. They loaded the elevator 3 times. Each time, Simon tried to reach for one more thing. My throw blanket, the bath mat, the olive oil. It was almost funny the way losing makes people more acquisitive than love ever did. At the end, he lingered in the doorway. 3 years, he said, like he was throwing the number at my feet to see if it would break. I nodded. 3 years that deserved better than a break announcement 2 days before my birthday. You're going to regret this. There it was. The line. Every performance needs a closing monologue. I glanced at the bedroom door. The hinge won't let you slam, I said gently. If you want a dramatic exit, you'll have to improvise. He stared at me like I had ruined the script by reading it. When they were gone, Noah exhaled and leaned into the kitchen counter. You okay? No, I said. And yes. I pressed my palms flat on the cool stone, felt the tremor settle. I'm sad. I'm also not sorry. That night, the post started. Simon went elliptical on his public accounts. When people show their true colors, and betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from home. One story featured a song about liars that had no business soundtracking anyone's real life. I didn't post. Noah did, but only one line. If someone leaves you to chase their past, don't be surprised when you choose a better present. There was no photo, no tag. People who'd watched Simon's Miami Odyssey understood anyway. Comments started filling with the word we both avoided, receipts. The recruitment tour followed. Simon called mutual friends, tried to audition them as jurors. Jerome rang me. Yo, Simon says you cheated. He went to Miami to think with his ex, I said. We were on a break, his words. Jerome went quiet. He told me it was a family trip. Check his highlights. A pause, then a low whistle as he scrolled. He really said self-care, with a yacht. And Daniela. Damn. Wednesday, Simon returned, with Tessa and Maurice to get everything else. I'd set aside a small box of strays, a charger, an old watch, a baseball signed by someone whose name I never learned. He pushed past it and grabbed the coffee maker. That's mine, I said. It lives in my morning, he replied, which would have been funny if it weren't so exhausting. It's a gift from my mom, I said. You can take the grinder. I hate the grinder. Tessa stepped in. Simon, come on. We did this dance for 20 minutes. Him grasping, me refusing to be gripped. When he tried to slam the bedroom door on his way out, the soft close performed its same neutral mercy. The door whispered shut like it refused to collaborate. In the elevator, he turned to toss one more grenade. Noah, he said loudly, you backstabbing piece. Noah cut him off, not with volume, but with clarity. I stood by you while you made her small. I won't apologize for choosing to stop watching. The doors slid shut on whatever Simon would have said next. The building sighed back into normal. Pipes ticking, a dog barked 2 floors down, someone practicing scales on a piano badly and bravely. At 1 a.m., my phone lit with a text from an unknown number and then another and another. New numbers, same voice. You'll regret this. I know who you really are. We can still fix us if you stop now. I forgive you for Noah. I stared at that last one until the words lost their edges. Forgive me for being chosen after being left. I blocked the numbers, went to the bedroom, stood there a long minute with my hand on the soft-closed door like it was a living thing that could bless or absolve. Crawled into bed, the pillow faintly smelling of Noah's shampoo from the morning he wore my tea. I fell asleep fast, the way the exhausted do. Morning would bring flowers to my office, from Simon, of course, and then calls, and then something more embarrassing than flowers. Morning would bring strategy from him and something steadier from me. But in that small stretch of quiet, I finally believed the simplest truth in the room. Sometimes the most radical action is not revenge, it's refusal. The flowers arrived at my office before I did. A crystal vase, an overconfident explosion of red roses and baby's breath, taking up half my desk. The card just said, I'm sorry, please forgive me, you're Cece. He'd called me that for years, short for Collins, a nickname I never liked but tolerated because love teaches you how to minimize discomfort, seeing it printed on a florist's note after everything felt obscene. My coworker Lena peeked over the partition. Whoa, big apology energy. Or guilt, I said, sliding the arrangement toward the corner. By noon, my inbox pinged. With a food delivery, my favorite sushi place. By evening, another ping. An email with an e-card animation of cartoon hearts exploding to I want it that way. And then at 8 p.m. came the knock. I opened the door and froze. A man in a tuxedo, holding a mic and a tiny portable speaker, cleared his throat. Are you Avery Collins? Unfortunately, I said. He pressed play. You are my fire. I shut the door mid-lyric. Through the wood, I heard the last line drift off. The one desire. My neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, shouted from across the hall, Tell him to take requests. I pressed my forehead to the door and laughed, the kind of laugh that comes from disbelief, not humor. The next morning, HR called me into a meeting. My manager, Carl, gestured for me to sit. So, Avery, we got an interesting call last night. Let me guess, my ex? Carl nodded. Said you were unstable, creating a hostile environment, and, this one's creative, dating a coworker inappropriately. I don't date anyone here, I said flatly. That's what I told HR. We're documenting everything just in case. Do you need time off? I need thicker walls, I muttered. He smiled sympathetically. Breakups, huh? Apparently they're contagious, I said, standing. By the time I reached the elevator, my phone was buzzing again. Lena. She whispered, Someone's at reception asking for you. Tall, good hair, says he's your boyfriend. My stomach dropped. What? He's holding muffins, she said. I think he's trying to make a grand gesture. I hung up and took the stairs 2 at a time. By the time I got to the lobby, Noah was already there. Not Simon, thank God. Standing in front of the receptionist with 2 coffees and a look of barely contained amusement. Before you panic, he said, these are peace offerings for the secondhand embarrassment I know you're experiencing. I exhaled. Oh, thank God. I thought, yeah, I heard. The singing telegram. You saw? The internet saw. He held up his phone, where a video already had 50 comments on the building group chat. Caption, rom-com villain auditions on 3rd floor? I groaned. Of course someone filmed it. At least you look composed. He, tried to moonwalk. That afternoon, Simon switched tactics, from love bombing to vengeance. He called Noah's workplace next, claimed inappropriate conduct, the same script, new victim. Noah's boss laughed, told him, some people need hobbies. But the chaos didn't end there. Saturday morning, just past 7, someone pounded on my door like it owed them money. I opened it and nearly closed it again. Simon, and standing next to him, looking mortified, was Daniela. What the hell is this? I demanded. Simon raised a hand as if he were holding court. We need to talk, all of us. Noah appeared behind me, hair still messy from sleep, shirt inside out. It's 7 a.m., Simon. Just hear me out, Simon said. Daniela sighed. Please, Avery. He's been calling me nonstop since we got back. I thought if I came, maybe he'd stop. I blinked. You mean you didn't? She looked me straight in the eye. We didn't hook up. We didn't even kiss. He begged me to take photos to make you jealous. I told him it was stupid, but he kept pushing. He's been harassing me ever since. Simon's head snapped toward her. That's not true. It's absolutely true, she shot back. You said if I helped, you'd finally stop texting me at 2 a.m. about how she owes you closure. My mouth fell open. You faked your own cheating? It wasn't like that, Simon said quickly. It was supposed to make you realize what you were losing. Noah blinked. You flew to Miami to stage a jealousy stunt? It worked, didn't it? Simon barked. You're standing in my place. No, I said quietly. You're standing in mine. Simon's face twisted. You ruined everything. I didn't ruin anything, I said. I just stopped waiting for you to. The hallway lights flickered as the first neighbor door opened. Mrs. Patterson again, robe tied, phone recording. I swear, y'all are better than TV. Stay out of this, Simon shouted. She didn't. Didn't you leave her for your ex? We were on a break, Simon yelled. Mrs. Patterson snorted. Ross said the same thing, honey, and it didn't work for him either. The argument crescendoed. Simon ranted about betrayal, loyalty, friendship. Daniela muttered that she should have stayed in Miami. Noah stayed calm, even when Simon called him a thief. Finally, I'd had enough. Simon, you need to leave. This isn't over, he said. It's been over, I said, since you booked that flight. He pointed at me. You'll regret this. Daniela turned to go. Trust me, Avery. He's all yours if you want him. I really don't, I said. They left. The elevator dinged, and the silence they left behind felt like oxygen finally returning to the room. Noah wrapped an arm around me. You okay? I think I just survived the most unhinged rom-com scene ever written. He smiled. At least you didn't have to pay for tickets. I laughed, but it came out shaky. Do you think he'll stop now? I think, Noah said, glancing toward the door. He's not done performing yet. He was right, because 2 days later, my building woke up to Simon's grand finale, his magnum opus in public humiliation. Monday afternoon, 1 p.m. I was working from home when a distorted voice blared through my window. Attention, everyone! The woman in 4B cheated with her boyfriend's best friend. I froze, looked outside. Simon, standing on the sidewalk, with a megaphone and a cardboard sign that read, Cheaters live here. Continue.